Hey, what's going down, everybody? This your boy Jay Mason inside the Time Machine on WUAG 103.FM, playing the best in old school hip hop, R&B, and everything else in between. With me on the phone right now, I have Chasen Hampton, former member of the Mickey Mouse Club. Chasen, welcome to the Time Machine, my man.
How you doing, bud?
I'm doing good, man. Thank you for taking time out of your schedule to do this interview.
Oh, of course, man.
All right, now,
thanks for having me.
All right, now let's go ahead and get right into it. How did you get your start in the industry pre-Mickey Mouse Club?
Wow, previous to Mickey Mouse Club, I was actually from Oklahoma City, and I grew up there. I've been doing kind of performing arts, and I went to like music preschool, and had been singing since I was 3, and been in church singing, and doing local acting gigs. But it's Oklahoma, so that's pretty small potatoes, you know. Then randomly, my dad got a random call at work saying, you know, you need to take your son to Dallas. They're doing this huge audition, and for the Mickey Mouse Club or whatever. So my dad calls me at school, pull me out of school, and I go down there, and there's like 1,000-something kids, and I went in there and just did my thing, and it was crazy. Like Entertainment Tonight was there, and they kept me there all day, and then all of a sudden they had me in there helping with the auditions, like just reading with the other people as they came in, and I just really hit it off with the casting director. His name is Matt Casella, who actually found all of them, and they went through like 60,000 kids, man, and they picked us out, and here I am, man. They took me to Florida and set us up, took me out of school. So I got to do school, you know, on set and through the tutors and stuff, and pretty amazing experience actually as a kid.
Okay, and people, what he means by all of them, you know, the Orlando, Florida boy band pop revival, Britney, Christina, Justin, JC. That whole clique.
Oh yeah, they were all there. Actually, before they got there, I'd actually jumped out of the Mickey Mouse Club for a second. The five of us, there was 5 of us, the oldest members. We jumped out and got signed to Hollywood Records, which was owned by Disney. So we were still on the show, but we were also a pop group, and we did that for 2 or 3 years. And while we were doing that, they hired a bunch of, not replacements, but a bunch of new kids to come on the show, and that included like Kerry Russell and Ryan Gosling and Justin and Christina and Brittany and Tony Luca and all these amazing talents. And so then after the party, after I got to do that whole experience, we did 5 albums with those guys, and I came back and hosted. So I hosted it for a while Christina and Brittany and all those guys were on it, which was pretty fun because they were such, they were tiny back then.
Mm-hmm. Now
Christina sure had that voice back then, though, man. It hadn't changed a bit.
Now, what was it like for you after you passed the audition and you got on and you have to relocate from where you were to Orlando, Florida, and going at a breakneck pace with the schedule that they had you and the other kids on?
No, it was hardcore. It was really hardcore. I'd been doing acting and stuff, so I was kind of used to, what they were going to expect of me. But at the same time, I've never done anything as hard since. Moving wasn't that big of a deal. My parents were happy to get out of Oklahoma in the cold and all that, And my parents are actually still in Florida. They were like, screw that, we're staying, So that wasn't a problem. We were all stoked to get out of there. And all the other kids, once I met all the other kids, it was like heaven, It was everybody, all those guys were into what I was into. I made, best friends with a couple of the guys right off the bat. And that was pretty awesome. But the schedule was insane because we were doing a show a day. Add on 3 hours of school, add on going to record the songs for the show in the recording studio, add on choreography for the music, and then, all the tons of dialogue. Every day was insane. Every day we were working till like 10 o'clock at night trying to memorize the stuff for the next day, and then, it was tough. It was 12 years old, that's for sure.
How were you guys able to squeeze in those long hours? Because I know certain states, they have, child labor laws and saying that children under a certain age can only work but so many hours.
Well, it's funny you asked that because that actually became an issue once we were there. We were working, like you said, at a breakneck pace, and it was just probably not good for a kid to be doing that. But at some point, I think that's why we were also doing it in Florida as well, because the laws were different. But at some point, SAG came in and changed the laws there as well, and we actually couldn't work as long. Mm-hmm. And they ended up changing the schedule later to 2 shows a week versus 5 or whatever it was.
Now, what was it like going on mall appearances as a Mouseketeer and seeing like the reaction? Because kids, you got to remember, at this time, Disney wasn't on basic cable. It was only on premium. So your parents had to call your cable or satellite company to get it.
Did you say what it was like going in the malls and stuff like that?
Yeah, when the show hit and it was like a big hit.
My best friends, I don't know if you're really familiar, but my best friends on that show were Damon Pampolina, Italian guy, and Albert Fields, an African American, and we hit it off, and we were like, you couldn't separate us. So walking through the mall anyway, just like a pale redhead dude with spiked up hair, this Italian guy and a black dude just cruising through the mall, People were just like, who are these guys, And we had like painted jeans on and different colored Nikes, back then when all that was in, and our hats with the tags on them, and it was a riot. We had a blast, man. We had people following us around, and even though you had to subscribe to the show, we had sick fans. I mean, everywhere. It was just tons of fans everywhere.
So it's kind of like Mickey Mouse Club kind of sort of had that New Kids on the Block feel to it, you know, in terms of the phenomenon, so to speak.
It did, and then once we became the party and we came out of that and we did the boy band thing, that's when we really saw the reaction like the New Kids on the Block thing, because that's when we were doing that, when New Kids on the Block were doing their stuff. We were doing the party, and we'd go, and, you know, we were opening for... Here's a funny story. I mean, actually, we were opening for Vanilla Ice because on Hollywood Records, they had signed Queen, and they bought the Queen catalog, so they owned Queen, and then we were the first band signed to Hollywood Records when they formed. So right off the bat, Wayne's World hit off and, you know, did really well for Queen, and then Vanilla Ice goes and steals Doom 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 Doom.
Under Pressure.
Right? So, like, part of the agreement was because he ripped that off that we had to go on tour with him and open up, you know, no matter what. He couldn't have any say about it. So we were performing and doing like 10,000 seats a night, crazy crowds and crazy audiences, and sometimes you couldn't even hear yourself perform. It's just the screams were so loud. It was nuts.
Was it the executive producers of the show's idea to break you, Albert, Damien, and the other two girls off to form the party?
Yeah, the other two girls were Tiffany Hale and Dee Dee Magno. And Dee Dee Magno now is doing Wicked on... I don't know if she's on tour or on Broadway. I think she's on tour.
So, you guys definitely had like a New Jack feel, you were saying, with the way with the dress, the Nikes, the hat with the tags, and the painted jeans.
Oh, yeah, totally. Yeah, I mean, and they had an infinite budget over at Hollywood Records, so we had literally every song had a different producer. So we had like Jelly Bean Benitez doing our stuff, and Steve Silk Hurley, and Dr. Dre, and Snoop, and the DOC, and they sent us to Virginia Beach for a couple of weeks, and we worked with Teddy Riley, and, you know, Rex and Effects just chilling with us and helping us out. I mean, it was nuts. You know, it was like a time of your life when you're that age, you know, heaven for sure.
I bet, but it's kind of like, you know, the party, Teddy, Dr. Dre, Snoop. It's kind of odd to see all these hip-hop and R&B people working with like a straight-up teen pop group.
It was. I mean, even one of the coolest songs was done with Andre Simone, who used to work with Prince. They never released those songs, unfortunately. They wanted it to be a little bit more pop, I think. But, you know, there were some just sick groove songs on there, man. I would still bump in my car today.
Right, because when I first heard, like, That's Why... And
but they were all in cassette.
Right, of course. This was back in the 90s, but Shoulda, Coulda, Woulda, and the whole debut record, some of the songs were very poppy, but it kind of had New Jack Swing overtones.
Yeah, totally.
So that must have meant that you guys would listen to, of course, New Edition, BBD, High Five, that whole
yeah, we actually toured with Color Me Bad and High Five, and we did a tour where we would switch off opening up for High Five, and they would open up for us, and we did a great tour with them. We toured with like Taylor Dane, and that's the kind of people they would put us with.
Okay, after the party is going on and everything, and you and some of the other members came back to host MMC. This was right around when Justin, Brittany, and Christina landed on. What was that like, coming back second time around and seeing like the new batch of Mouseketeers?
It was fun. I mean, it was kind of weird, and I was like, should I go back? You know, because we were still doing music. But at that moment, like, Nirvana just hit the charts and like just threw everything pop out the window. You know, everyone was listening to Teen Spirit, and even myself, I thought that was a cool tune. But it literally changed music for that moment. You know, so we were like, well, I don't think this is going to work anymore, and we disbanded. Yeah, and I went back. They offered me to go back. I'm like, well, sure, why not? You know, my parents are back in Florida, and I went back, and I had a blast. It was one of the best seasons I had because the skits were funnier. I had more freedom because I'd been there for so long. They had changed the whole set around, so it was all new, like a new face to the whole thing. And plus I got to meet all those guys, which, you know, thank God I did, man. They're, I mean, super talent there.